Hello, everybody. Hi everyone. I'm in my kind of not very lit up kitchen. I must get one of those lights again. But I'm not the star tonight. I am actually the host, but I'm going to be helping Elaine. Elaine is joining us. I'm just going to explain Crowdcast to you if you've never actually been on Crowdcast before. Underneath me, you have the questions and answers on the left-hand side. There's a questions and answers section. So if you have any questions during the show, the webinar, all you have to do is put your question there, and we will go through the questions later. All right. So I want to say hello to a few people who are here. Hi, Elaine. I'm going to get you on now. Jacinta, hello. Michelle. Anne, great to see you. Anne. Frances is here as well. Frances, actually, ladies, you must follow. She does online trainer courses. That might interest you as well, Elaine. It's international, obviously, as well, because it's online. I don't know why my thing keeps beeping. How do I turn that off? Anyway, this is not about me, so I'm going to actually go now. I'm going to invite Elaine on the screen. Who else have we got here? Let me see. We have Dee O'Leary, Dolores. Esther's here. Esther, you're on holidays. Deirdre's here. Hi, Deirdre. Jackie's here, and Fanula. Oh, Fanula from Scarecrow's here. Great, Fanula. Great to see you. So I am going to invite Elaine onto the screen now, and then Elaine, I'm going to let you take over and tell people a little bit about yourself. So Elaine is joining us from Canada. She's one of our members. And hello, Elaine.
Hello.
Hi.
You can hear me okay? Everything's good?
Yep.
Little loop there. Hi there. Wow, glad to see everybody. Yeah, I can't believe, Esther, that you actually came on your holiday. Wow.
Yeah, of course.
Consideration. Woohoo. See what a fabulous network Samantha's put together here. I think it's just incredible to have women from all over the world have the opportunity to support each other and to really offer up and share their expertise with other entrepreneurs and other women in business. Woohoo!
Yep.
On that note, I'm going to start my screen share shortly. Samantha, I know you talked about questions and answers. I'm happy to try and answer any question you have. As some people who've already met me know, if I don't have the answer, I'll tell you that, but I will go find it.
She will. I have seen her do this before, actually. Yeah.
Yes. And on that note, why don't I give it a go? Do you want to wait for a few more people, or are you ready to roll?
Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself first before you start?
I'm always bad at that part.
Go on, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, a little bit about me. I kind of fell into social media by accident. My background is interior design, and due to some medical challenges, I couldn't do stairs anymore. My daughter suggested I get into more print media, which evolved to web media. And by 2002, I'd been doing websites for a few years and got into search engine optimization because I understood that having a beautiful website was only good if somebody knew how to find it. So that really interested me. In 2007, I got onto Facebook the minute they opened the doors in February so that I could stalk my adult kids. That's it in a nutshell.
I think we all joined for that reason. I think we all joined for that reason.
But it's absolutely true. Well, the laugh was within about a month, I had more friends than they did. And I saw the absolute bonus for business. So I started getting my clients to come, getting my clients to use fan pages the minute they were open. And it developed from there. It was suggested that I hook up with Mari Smith. So in 2010, I did my background info and I went to the Relationship Marketing Institute. I mentored with Mari for more than 3 years. I am a Scottish Canadian. She is a Canadian Scot, currently living in the States. So we have a number of things in common, which is always cool. And I got into Google Plus the moment the doors opened, found myself very happily playing with video, search optimization, and right away, for me, I saw the correlation between Google, the biggest search engine in the world, and social media. And I understood that for me, everything was about integration. And that's what I'm going to talk to you about tonight. And we're going to talk about integrating things using all the images that we each so lovingly craft. So I'm going to give you some tips and hints on how to make those images work for you long after you've created them. How's that? You're muted, so I'm not. Okay. It looks to me like you're muted. I don't know if everybody else is hearing you. But
sorry, I muted myself because I keep getting notifications. So I'm going to mute myself again.
All right. And I'm going to start my screen share, and well, we'll take it from there. Just bear with me for 1 second. We'll grab the screen share. And it looks like it's all good. So tell me what you're seeing. Can somebody give me an idea? I think it might be backwards.
No, we're seeing it okay, I think.
We're
all seeing it okay. Yeah.
Okay. Are you simply seeing the Rocking Your Brand taking up the whole page?
Not taking up the whole page. It's just we can see the image, and you just need to present, I think.
Okay. Well, no, I've got to switch the monitors for the presenter view. This is the only problem with having a whole pile of monitors in your office. It can be really difficult to figure out exactly where things are. So bear with me for a second. I'm just going to flip the monitors. If I can get this to stop. Okay, bear with me.
Welcome, Brenda. Welcome, Michelle. Welcome, Dolores.
Okay, I'm back for 1 second. Sorry about that, ladies. And I'll do that one more time. And now you should see.
Yeah, that's fine.
There we go. So
okay, go ahead, Elaine.
The big image. This is
go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. Rocking your brand with images online. Okay. I want to give you the very best chance to rock your brand using your graphics and your images to their full extent. This is the acronym BIG. This is what I do in my daily life with True Social Media. I teach this online primer in workshops, and what the BIG stands for is actually branding, which is basically the foundation and the crux of all you do. You have to make sure online that the branding is consistent and congruent. It's got to be the same right across the board. It's the foundation of your whole online presence, and everything you do involves your branding. The I stands for integration, and this means you're bringing everything together, okay? You're gathering everything you have into a singular package and connecting each and every piece so that you're getting the very best optimization out of all you do. When I talk about integration, I'm talking about literally all the pieces. That's your website, your blog, your social media, any of the search optimization you do. All of those pieces have to kind of work in harmony. And it doesn't matter whether you're using one social platform or 10, they all have to be integrated, because the bottom line is you want to be found. Okay, that's the whole reason you're online, is getting found. And that, of course, brings us to the G, which is for graphics. Now, graphics is going to be the focus of this webinar. And we think about graphics, you know, that it's sort of part and parcel of branding. It should come right after branding. But in fact, there's an awful lot more to your graphics than probably most people ever think about. Okay, it's not just about making sure that your logo matches or that you like your colors. Graphics are quite often the most underutilized way for you to solidify your visibility online. Okay, they don't only help you integrate what you do, they can actually up your brand awareness long after you've forgotten about that particular graphic. They get to every area across your entire digital world. So for the purpose of this webinar, graphics also includes video. And we're going to touch on that briefly right at the end of the presentation. So we're going to talk about branding for just a few moments here, because branding really is critical. Having good brand recognition and getting people to be aware of your brand is really the culmination of all your marketing efforts. So, you know, the one thing most people think about when they think about branding is, of course, a logo. And I went out and grabbed a few logos, and I wanted to be sure that they made sense to some people, not just here in North America. So I've got Coca-Cola, I've got Google, Apple, Louis Vuitton, and I went out and got a few Irish ones and UK ones as well, with Barclays Bank. I've got Glanbia, Smurfit Kappa, and of course, right smack in the middle, there's this beautiful swan. And I'm hoping that at least some of you, if not all of you, know that that swan belongs to Helena Gilhooly of Busy Beater, which is an absolutely lovely, lovely logo. Now,
yeah, hi, Elaine. I'm just going to jump in there. It's Helena.
Oh, Helena, I am so sorry.
I don't think she's here, actually. I don't think she's here at the moment, but she would have loved that. Oh my gosh. So we let her know, don't worry.
Well, she actually does know, Sam, because I never use anything unless I ask first.
Oh, she is here. Great. Okay.
Oh,
brilliant.
Good. Well, yeah. Helena, I am so sorry. Someone's going to have to teach me to speak properly again. I've been in North America way too long. On that note, I'll just pick up where I left off. I spoke with Helena earlier today to be sure that it was okay to use the logo. That's a little something that we always do when we're using images. It's really important that you check and make sure that you have permission to use images, especially if they're not your own. Quite often, people don't realize that, or they don't think about it, and it can, in fact, get you in trouble. Anyway, as I had said, branding is critical, but that's kind of only part of it. I'm not just talking about the logo. When it comes down to the bottom line of what you do online, you want to be found in search. You want to be able to increase your revenue. You want to be able to add followers, and you want to be able to grow your business. That's why we're all here for business. So that foundation has to include and involve branding at every step of the way. Getting the most out of your graphics, which is really why we're here, okay? There are a couple of things that I'm going to cover first, and it does sound really repetitive, but there's a reason for that. I'm going to talk a lot about visibility, because really, when it comes down to it, that's what you want. You want to be found. Because trust me, if they're not finding you, they're finding your competition. And that's taking money out of your pocket. So it's really important that you take into account everything that your graphics can do for you. You know, great images, your logos, and any of your other graphics are only as good as long as they're being seen. So you want to be sure that you're able to stretch that out as far as you can to help build your brand awareness online. Now, we have a really difficult name in Truel social media, and I will tell you that Truel is an acronym. It means the rest of our lives. Had I known when I chose that back in the early 90s that it would be so close to troll, which is definitely not a good thing online, we might have chosen a different name for the company. But it is, in fact, the name of our home, and we've taken it right through to our business. So we'll persevere. That's why you see Google always asks, Bing, any search engine I check always says, did you mean troll? And I always sigh and say, no, I meant Truel. I did a little search here, as you can see up at the top. I hope you can see the little guy. I have a picture, a second picture I'll show you, but there's a little guy up on the left. This is an incognito search. And what I did was search for Truel social media images. You'll see in the middle, all of the images that I'm seeing there actually have something to do with our company. And the entire page came back to Truel social media, which is really what you want to see. I'm going to, sorry, not go backwards. I'm going to go forwards and show you just that header. So that little guy up in the left, the little glasses and the hat, that's where you want to check to see how you show up in search. And I'm hoping that everybody here checks themselves and their company in search at least once a month. It's important for you to know what's out there, whether it's good, whether it's bad, whether it's amazing, and maybe you haven't reached out to someone because you didn't know. If you check yourself in search, you're always going to be ahead of the game. In that particular search that I did this morning, Truel social media images returned about 52,000 results. Now, I'm going to show you, I simply scrolled down the page, and the bulk of the images you see, right from the moose sitting on our piano over here upper right, to my lovely little Aunt Mary in the middle, and some of the other pictures of myself and friends, these are all related to my company. There are maybe 4 pictures on there that aren't, but as you'll see, okay, more and more pictures come up that are related to Truel social media in the eyes of the search engines. So you see there's a little bit of a pattern here. When you name your images well, when you follow certain conventions, you actually are getting credit for a lot. I would be very remiss as a mother if I didn't let you know that the lovely young woman with glasses down on the right is my daughter, and the, dear God, human-sized banana just below her is in fact my son. That's a story for another day. This is further down that page. Again, these are all images that have been put out by our company. And I'm not flooding you with images about me just to show you me, okay? What I want you to know is when you start using good file naming and when you're consistent, you're actually going to get credit for a lot of images. And the fact is, people look for images online and reuse them. If they're your images, you want to be sure that you're tagged in that image. This is one of the little ads that I put together for tonight's webinar. The beautiful young woman in that image, her name is Daria Musk, and this is at a very prestigious older studio in New York City. She was doing a concert in a Google Hangout a number of years ago. And in the middle of the concert, she was talking to us in the Hangout. You can see on the screen, there's someone in the window. Just so you know, I popped into this Hangout being unaware that they were actually live broadcasting. That's Elaine Lindsay after the shower with her lovely curly hair. So you know I really am Scottish underneath. However, what I didn't know, funny story about this, that was then broadcast to the Jumbotron in Times Square. And I got a call a day later from some friends of my parents who said, you know, funny thing, we thought we saw you in Times Square. Had a hard time explaining that one. Now, I'm not really talking here about just your logos or changing the color of anything. I'm talking about making sure everything you do is branded for you. All the images that I put up, you're going to see our logo. Sometimes you're going to see the titles of webinars. I also use hashtags and copyrights on images because they're really important for you to be able to keep track of what you do. Part of talking about images, we have to talk about poor graphics. Okay, they really hurt your brand. And here you're seeing sort of fuzzy images with illegible fonts. Some of them are badly sized. It makes it not just difficult to read, but it's unpleasant for the user. The search engine algorithms have to be able to identify the graphics because they don't really see images yet. Okay? Video and imaging is really important that you make sure it's as clear as possible so that people are getting your message. Now, all the graphics that you put out, whether you buy them from places like, as you see here, Shutterstock or Dreamtime, there's a lot. There's Getty Images, there's Big Stock is another one of the companies. All of these companies that require you to pay for images, if anybody's ever paid for images, I want you to know that once you've paid for that image, that iteration of the image belongs to you. So you want to take the time and rename the image before you use it. And the reason for that is because you may not notice until you go back after this webinar, but Big Stock puts their name at the beginning of the file name of every single image they put out. What that means is they are getting credit for the image on your website or your social media. Wherever you're putting that image, if you haven't taken advantage of renaming it, you're not getting any credit for it. And that's a waste of your money, okay? They're getting a ton of optimization from all the hard work that you do. Now, if you're wondering, when you use your cell phone or your tablet or even a camera and you take pictures, when you download those pictures and put them into your file system, you'll notice that quite often they're either IMG underscore and then a bunch of numbers, or DCIM underscore and a bunch of numbers. Those are all things that you can change. Not only that, you want to be able to help the search engines understand what's in the photo. Because to them, if there aren't words that they can categorize in the naming of the photos, then those photos are simply a blank slate to them. And the algorithms that calculate whether or not the image is relevant to your website, whether or not it's good quality, you're not going to get the value of that because the Google search engine and Bing and other search engines really aren't seeing any value in the image because it's just a bunch of numbers. So here you're going to see, I'm sure everybody knows who this is. This is an image that was taken by Linda McCartney right after they had their daughter. And this is how she named the file. It is Paul McCartney with Child by Linda McCartney. I want you to notice in that file name, there are no spaces. Okay, each word is separated by a dash. And that's really important, okay? It's really good practice for you to follow what we call a file naming convention. And for one thing, you can do it with all the files on your computer, with all your images, with your PDFs. File naming conventions actually make it a lot easier to find things on your computer. And if you give yourself a little legend so that you always remember to do it in the same way, then you're always going to be able to find things and you're going to up the optimization for each and every image that you use and for your PDFs and your other files as well, especially when you use them online. You know, I'll get a little bit technical here, but it means that the file name has to include, at the very least, either your company name or your name. So depending on the type and style of your business, if you're a solopreneur or an entrepreneur and you're the head of the business and the business doesn't have a name, then you're going to want your personal name there. This image was taken from Google in Boston back in 2012. I was speaking about Hangouts, actually, which was funny because I was speaking at Google. But you'll notice that I saved it as Google-Pic I'm going to stop saying dashes, but you know, they're there. Boston, it was December 5th, 2012. Elaine Lindsay is the one who owns the picture. And at the end, I have the specific size of the picture. Pictures online are normally in pixels, so putting 960 by 720 is useful for me. It's useful for the website. It's useful for anyone that's putting the picture on the website because they know it's a larger picture. It's important to have a good idea of what the sizing is for your pictures. The other thing is that gives the search engines a bit of an idea of what's in the picture. Okay, it's telling it that it's a picture of Google Boston and that Elaine Lindsay either owns the picture or is in the picture. Now, one thing I want to go a little farther because I'm sure there have to be some of you that have a company that's what we call a bricks and mortar. So you're a local business, you have a shop or you have an office that your clients come to. If you do, then it's imperative for you to use something we call your NAP. That's N-A-P. And if you haven't heard of that before, NAP is very important for you. If you have a Google My Business page and you have a map pin for your business, you want to make sure that your name, address, and phone number are on your images and your website pages because they do relate to your business as a local entity. You get the bonus of being able to geotag what you do so that you get that optimization as well. If you are a service business and you have a service area, you too can have a Google My Business page, and I would suggest that you too can use your NAP. Now, I know for solopreneurs who use their own home and may not want to put that address out there, you can claim a service area. Google will ask for your specific address, but you can say that you are a service business and you don't want to make the address public. You still get the benefit of a map pin. It gives you a bit of a circle, not so much as of a pin with a specific address, but that's an extra web page for you in search. So that's right there, doubling your visibility. And when you attach that to all the images that you put out, that can really help you move up the ranks in search. And we all want to be on page 1, right? So here we have alt tags. I want to talk about the alt tags. This chunk here is a chunk of the code that you'll see in the background of websites. And I don't want to panic anybody. If you're not comfortable with code or somebody else does it for you, I just want you to be aware of what it is, what it looks like, and you can always ask the person that does your web stuff for you if they can make sure that you have alt tags. On the first line, you'll see the alt tag starts in red. The alt tag for the little image at the bottom, which is a digital audit report that we do, it's digital audit report cover image, Truel social media. That gives the search engines and also the visually impaired an idea of what the image is about. And that's really important, not just for the search engines, but I believe that everyone should have access to the web. And if there's a way that I can help, if any of us can help those that are visually impaired or need some help with a TTY reader in order to see a web page, I think it's really critical that we give that added bit of help so that everybody gets to enjoy. That was the first use of alt tags, was actually for people with the sight readers or anyone with vision issues. And it became the secondary value came for the search engines because the algorithms now had a way to actually understand what was in an image. One thing that's really important to note, and it's coming sooner, I think, than any of us would like, they are now using artificial intelligence and machine learning for search. Search has changed from what used to be called Boolean, which was you typed in a keyword and good God, you got all kinds of weird stuff back. Now it's more contextual. You can type in a question and the search engine will actually take into account all the words in that question. So your returns are better. Having said all that, that's just to tell you that they're now starting to train the artificial intelligence to actually understand what's in an image. And it's actually quite fascinating. Don't want to bore you and get too deep into that part because it is a little bit deep.
Elaine, can
Yes.
I ask a question, please? Just to pause you there for a second.
Absolutely.
Anne Brannick has said, do you put them on as an addition to the file name? So, you know, I think she means when you make your file name, do you have to get those alt tags added? Or what? I think that's what she's asking.
Yes. Okay. A really good question. Those alt tags, if you have a WordPress site, the minute you upload an image, you'll see on the right-hand side, it always gives you an area for the title, the alt tag, a caption, and sometimes a description. I'm going to suggest that unless you want to see text under the picture, don't worry about the caption, but you want both the title and the alt tag to be completed. Before you upload the picture is when you make the file the proper name. So you don't do the alt tag until you're uploading it to the web. That's an excellent question.
Okay, and also we have Michelle here. Alt is very important going forward as all government departments in Ireland want to make sure all their websites are accessible. I have been training their staff on that. Great, Michelle. So that's a lady in the network that can probably help with people with problems, maybe do consultations and stuff. And Terry Morris as well is an expert in this. Also important because now 30% of Google searches are for images. Well, Terry be an expert in website, WordPress actually. So
oh, perfect. Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that, Michelle. Well, my hat's off to the Irish government because I've been saying this forever, okay, long before I got into social. I believe that alt tags are critical because it's important for everybody to be able to access everything. As they teach the search engines more and more, as they deal with machine learning and AI, we're going to see more and more that they're actually going to be able to, well, quote unquote, see the images. Why that's important too, and for the WordPress, and just a little bit deeper here, as people are using more and more machine learning and AI, you're going to find that in the next few years, it's really critical for you to use your own images. Okay, perfection is not as important as actual reality. So if you can take pictures of your events, pictures of your products, pictures of the people in your shops and in your webinars and wherever, you are much better using those on your website and blog and your social media than buying things from Shutterstock and Big Stock and Dreamstime. Those big companies are going to hate me, but the fact is, okay, that's going to be part of the algorithm that helps calculate your social proof, and it's going to add to the quality and relevance on your website. So if you, like, 55 other people bought the group with, the women and men with the briefcases, or the 10 people sitting around the boardroom table, and that's the opening picture on your website, that's going to give you less of a relevance score because it's so generic. So hopefully that makes sense to those that are a little deeper. Just keep that in mind, that, people want to deal with people. Okay, people do business with people. They don't do business with business. And people, everybody has a little bit of a flaw. Perfection is actually painful and boring. And I don't just say that because I'm really far from perfection. I say that because it's true. If you actually talk to some of the world's greatest photographers, the models that make the best models are the ones that have things slightly off. They're not perfect. They're you know, their eyes aren't exactly the same, or their nose isn't perfectly straight. It's those little imperfections that make life wonderful. So putting together your own images really brings the flavor of you into your website. And the more you can be real online, the better off you're going to do in business.
Absolutely, and thank you. I just want to welcome we have some new viewers that came along. Julia, you're very welcome. Carmel, you're very welcome. Geraldine, Lucy, Julian, Fanula from Scarecrow Flowers is here. She might come on screen later, maybe. Karen is here. Jacinta, Jackie, Francis, Tim, Catherine, Estelle, Michelle, Helena, Deirdre, Michelle, Anne, Roisin, Helena, Fiona, Brenda, Terry, Anna from Texas, and Dolores. So we have a lot of people in the room, Elaine. So Julia says she's a huge Elaine fan. So there you go.
Hi, darling.
Yes.
Julia,
okay.
Shout out to Colorado.
Okay, Colorado, you're very welcome. So right, let's carry on then. So we have no questions yet in the questions and answers section. So folks, if you have any questions, do put them in the questions and answer section, and I will bring those questions up with Elaine later. So Elaine, if you want to carry on, then go ahead.
Perfect. Thanks very much, Sam. Okay, just to sort of give you a sort of an overview of what we've talked about so far, okay? When you search online for an image, you can actually now, you'll be able to tell the ones that are optimized. Because when you try to save as, and you see images, I want everybody to try this tomorrow. Go after a couple of images and you'll see who is and isn't paying attention to their own stuff. Because if you see DCIM and a bunch of numbers, or big stock and a bunch of numbers, you know that they're not optimizing their images. And that's really critical for your consistency, for your optimization. And at the end of it all, okay, it builds the trust with the people that you're dealing with. Okay, when you deal with people and you're a real person with, you know, a few flaws and what have you, and your images are real, they're people you know, they're your products, they're all the things that make you, you're going to have a better connection. You're going to build a better relationship. And quite frankly, that's what it's all about. You don't go buy things from people you don't know. You build a relationship so that you have rapport. Now, unfortunately, up until a few years ago, the people that did search engine optimization, and I know the people in the room are going to agree with me here, and the social media people and the web designers, they never talked to each other. Nobody was talking about integration. All the online marketers were doing their thing. The SEOs were doing their thing. And Julia's one person who can attest. I've been yelling since 2011 saying, come on, people, you have to integrate, put it together, put it together. Always, when you add 2 and 2, you get 4. It's always more. So that just made sense to me. Now, as of last year, Google, Facebook, and all the other social media platforms are all saying, you know what, people, we got to integrate, got to put your stuff together, got to be consistent. This is so critical for everybody. I hope that didn't open on. Is anything opening on the screen? If it is, I'm terribly sorry. It's my grandson's birthday and there's all kinds of messages popping up.
No, that didn't open. No, your video you did with your boyfriend didn't come up. No, it's fine.
Samantha, if you could see how red I am, oh my God.
Sorry, Elaine.
That's okay.
Go ahead.
All that to say, yeah, don't put up your sexy videos. All that to say, integration and consistency allows you to get better optimization, which in the end is going to help you grow your business, your followers, and your revenue. And quite frankly, isn't that what we all want? This is a little deeper into that file naming convention. I really want to hammer it home because consistency in the file naming can go much further than your images. All those images I showed you a while back, some of those have been online since 2010. And some of them people take and use, which means True Social Media's name is getting out there farther and farther, and I'm not doing anything. So it's a passive way to make sure you're expanding your brand awareness. Okay, one of the most important aspects of the file naming is adding that dash between the words in the file name. And this is sad to say, we lost her last September. She was 17. That was Miss Cosette, my hubby's little Yorkie. And that was one of her pictures. Now, Matt Cutts of Google said a few years back that they used to use underscores between words that they wanted to put together. So if you were putting up your first and last name, a few years ago, you'd put first name underscore last name, and then other words had dashes. But it got a little confusing for people. So a couple of years ago, Matt Cutts went basically on board and talked to reporters and basically said, we're just going to use dashes to make it consistent and easy for everybody. So as long as you remember, either put your name or your company name at the beginning or at the end of the image, and look at the image and put words there that are going to make sense to someone. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to keep it to 3 words, or there's, you know, it can be a little bit longer if it has to be. Better to be more explanatory than not. So even sometimes I've had images that have, you know, 7, 8, 9 words, because that's important. Just being a glam ma, this is a picture of one of my glam kids. It's just another image. This is a meme. You do the same thing with a meme. You can put your words on any image that makes it a meme. Always make sure you brand it for you and your company. Now, this is because the algorithms for the computers, they run in what we call bits and bytes. They only know ones and zeros. There are no spaces. So when they convert words and dashes, it doesn't cause them to get stuck or get lost in what you're saying. That's a very rudimentary way to explain it, but it really does make more sense for you to string your words together with the dashes so that it's always the same and it's always easy for the algorithms to give you bonus points in search. This is a file name that I put on there simply to show you. This is actually from a video. And this young man, Kieran, he is an ambassador for JDRF. I know it's in Ireland as well, but here in Canada, JDRF is the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. And I've been working with them for 5 years now. We started a program doing videos with the youth ambassadors to talk about the yearly walk to cure diabetes. And I've been lucky enough to have the opportunity to speak with these little people. He's 4 years old. The oldest, I think, was 14 when I first met him. And he is now an adult ambassador at 19, which is really kind of cool. You do see the dashes between the words there. Kieran and his mom, Jennifer Palmer, they were in Kingston, and it was August 22nd, 2016. The beginning, it begins with JDRF. Because I do it for them, I don't bother putting anything on it to do with my company because I want all the optimization and all the benefit to go to JDRF. Now, I just, not to put too fine a point on it, but always put the name of you and or your business. There are times when if you have a business like Busy Beaters, Okay, Helena, if you were, say, speaking somewhere and people took pictures, say at your 50th birthday party, and you wanted to use the picture and get some value for your company, then I would suggest putting Busy-Beaters 50th party, Helena Gilhooly. And that way you're getting the benefit of both. And you could, if it was for something you were using for a speaker, you could put the word speaker after that as well. That's just to sort of give you an idea of how you can use that to really benefit you. Okay, and that makes it easy for those people using the visual readers. If they're listening to the reader, then what's in the graphic is kind of going to make sense to them. It's certainly better than a bunch of numbers. Excuse me. Now,
could you just repeat, Helene, if you don't mind, could you just repeat what way you would name Helena's picture? Just one more time, yeah. Just okay. One more time.
Yeah, I said Busy-Beaters 50th birthday bash Helena Gilhooly. And then I said if she was going to use it for a speaking engagement after Helena Gilhooly, she could put speaker. And
that just way, put this in the comments there. Can you see the comments? Can you see that? Did I do that right? Busy-Beaters.
Sorry, I can't see anything because
okay, we'll put it up later.
My whole screen.
Okay,
when I come back on screen, I'll check the questions to make sure we got it right. Okay.
Okay.
Perfect.
Go ahead.
Okay. So there are a few more things that you can do that are really useful to be sure that you're getting credit for everything you do. For people, especially on Twitter and Instagram, using your hashtags, you can append them to the image itself. You'll notice the image at the bottom. When I was getting ready to promote this webinar, I actually just made this one up to show you. My hashtag, one of them, is of course integrate, because I believe that's absolutely critical. You'll note that on that bottom picture, my logo is actually a fair size. The words in the middle are just there, and integrate at the bottom is rather large. You'll notice on my logos, and I made it really big at the bottom in white, I put a copyright symbol and the year. That's good for you here in Canada, not so much in the States, but if you put a copyright on your information, it just makes it a little more yours, and it just gives you a little more ownership, if you will, of what you have. Having said that, the first thing people always say is, how the hell do you do that? Well, two things, okay? If you want to add your logo or even your name beautifully written to your images, you need to get it in what's called a PNG format. And that means that the background around the image is clear. So when you have a transparent background, the only thing that goes on top of the image is actually the logo or the name. And what that does, it doesn't overpower the images. So that's the first part. It has to be a PNG. And you can always resize them, but it's good to have a big one so that you have good clarity. The top one on the left, Stop the Scammers, Don't Click, that's actually a still photo from a video I did. And the one on the right-hand side is talking about the Canadian Anti-Spam Act. And you'll see that both of them not only have my logo, but it does have the copyright symbol in front of the logo. It's actually blue and small, and that's why I put the white one. For everyone to understand how you do that, it's really kind of simple. On a PC, you simply use Alt 0169. And that will give you that copyright symbol in most fonts. If certain fonts that are really scripty or really different may not have the copyright symbol, but most fonts that people use, including Papyrus, which you'll see here in Rockin Your Brand, Papyrus is my chosen font for my logo, and even that has a copyright symbol. If you're using a Mac, You are going to place your cursor where you want the symbol to appear in your text, and you're going to press Option G to insert it. Okay, that if you add a copyright and your logo to the bottom right or the bottom left or the top right or top left of your images, it's not intrusive, but somewhat like that Coca-Cola symbol and the Yves Saint Laurent and all of the big brands, you're going to build that brand awareness over time. And eventually, what you want to happen is when people see those colors or something that's even close, they're going to think of you and your logo. To take that a little bit further, okay, for videos, it's really important that you use that same file naming convention, and you always want to add a still photo, what YouTube calls a custom thumbnail. Now, most people will say to me when I first talk about videos and thumbnails, they go, no, oh, YouTube takes thumbnails. They give you 3 options. Yeah, they do. Have you ever looked at them? In most of mine, my eyes are closed. I look like I'm either in the middle of talking, which is basically what always happens, or I look like I'm about to yawn or fall asleep. They're never really nice pictures. So it makes much more sense to make your own thumbnail, and it's so much tidier when you use the same picture as a thumbnail over and over for your videos. Not only that, but YouTube happens to be the 2nd largest search engine in the world, and they're owned by Google. And guess what? When you use a custom thumbnail, part of the algorithm rates that basically for relevance and quality. You've taken the time to go that one extra step, which means that video must mean more to you. Therefore, you're helping yourself once again be more visible. Now, I'm not just going to leave you telling you that, you should have a custom thumbnail, blah, blah, blah. It does help you with optimization. What you want to know, the custom covers for YouTube are usually 640 pixels wide by 360 pixels high. Whenever we talk online about sizing, the width is always the first number people give you. So always remember that, 640 by 360. For Facebook videos and Facebook Live, it's a little bit different. They'll give you more thumbnails, and they're not always ready to let you put a custom one. If they don't let you have a custom one, you'll have to choose from what they have. But Facebook is now allowing you to do cover video for your business pages. You don't just need an image at the top of the page. You can actually put in a video. And I'm going to give you the specs for the video. It has to be at least 820 by 312 pixels, and it must be between 20 and 90 seconds long. But I'm going to tell you something that Facebook's even telling you now. Make the video 820 by 456. Okay, they're 312. As much as they say it fits, it does not. The good thing is, once you put it up there, you actually get a moment where you can reposition a little. But I'm going to suggest when you're doing video, try and keep it within that framework. And when you do a custom cover, I've found that if you do the cover the same size, 820 by 312 or 820 by 456, it will definitely fit the video and fit within their area where they keep your videos. They don't always allow you to do a cover image. But here's the other thing I'm going to suggest. Everybody should have a YouTube channel. It's free. And every video you do, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Twitter, whether it's LinkedIn, which you can now do, when you are done with that video, you need to download it and put it on your own YouTube channel. Think of YouTube as your parking lot. That's where you leave your car, and guess what? This lot's free. If you want to put your videos on your website, You don't want to house them on your website because that takes a huge amount of bandwidth. Leave them on your YouTube channel and simply embed them on your website. You still need the custom covers, and that's going to add to your relevance even more. So I'm kind of ramping down here and tell you that, you know, visual content is more than 40 times more likely to get shared on social media than anything else. That alone tells you you should never put out anything, any status update, anything that does not have an image, okay? Further to that, because I did bring in video, by 2019, Robert Kurtzes, who is the head of YouTube, in 2012, he predicted that 75% of all online interactions will be via video. And in fact, at the beginning of the year, Cisco took it a step further and said it's going to be 80%. So having cover images and making sure that you understand how to properly file name is going to be super important so that you get the optimization you deserve. When done right, good optimization and integration, you can actually stand up there with the big boys. You can get on page 1 even before some of the biggest companies out there. So we've talked about graphics and all the tweaks and changes that you can make to help optimize them. In a word, what I'm talking about here across everything you do is consistency. Okay, it's really a lot easier to build your social relationships and your proof when you make sure, one, your images are high quality, they're well optimized, they're integrated with everything you do, and the file naming conventions allow you to appear front and center every time. Visibility in search means that prospects are finding you first, not the competition. So more brand awareness absolutely means more visibility, which means more prospects. I'd like to wrap this up with my little analogy, if you will, for search optimization and what it is, how it kind of gives you visibility. I like to think of optimization, it goes into a bucket. Okay, this is my estimation of the bucket. Your optimization, all these little words floating around, that's the optimization juice. Okay, and when all of your optimization juice is consistent, when your name, your address, your phone number for a local business is all consistent, then all of that juice is going to fit in your bucket. When your graphics are poor or they don't have the right file names and they're not integrated with your website and your blog, that juice is missing your bucket and it's just landing, splashing everywhere. You're not getting, sorry about that, you're not getting the value and neither is anyone else, okay? All of that inconsistency means you're not helping yourself be found and you're doing yourself and your business a great disservice. I hope with this little webinar, I've given you a better understanding that branding consistency is super important, that the integration of your branding, your graphics, and your website, your content, your social media, all of that helps you optimize so that there is better brand awareness, and that graphics and video using a proper process will make your graphics work for you long after you finish with them. Doing all of this is going to help your business with optimization, and it's going to make sure that it doesn't get washed away. It's going to all end up in your bucket.
Fantastic. Elaine, you should see the comments coming in there on the right-hand side. First of all, I'm going to thank you so much for that valuable information, but then I'm going to I have some questions here, and if anybody would like to go on the screen, we can get you on the screen to ask the question. But are you ready for questions, Elaine?
Yeah, I'm going to come out now. There's my social channels you can subscribe to, and I'm more than happy to hand them to people later. I will close out and come back on the screen.
Fantastic. Elaine, feel free to drop those links to your social pages again into the chat there as well, okay? Thank you. Oh, Elaine, that was brilliant. You know what? You added so much value. Thank you so much. And I knew you would, you see. That's why I got you. So, right. Okay. Jacinta has...
I'm so glad you liked it.
There's
another thing I'd like to say, Samantha, sorry, I didn't get to say it during, but what I would like to say is Marie Collins has a lovely wee package she wanted people to try out. And her and I talked because I thought this is really good and important for you to use her package about using Canva for Facebook ads. So I just wanted to give her a shout out.
Yes, Marie put that up in the WIN members group, actually. Yes, thank you, Elaine. I'll let her know. Thanks, Tim. Thanks for joining us. I see there's a lot of new people in the room as well. Patricia, I saw you've joined us as well. So I'm going to just ask the questions. The most popular one so far has been, would it be beneficial for web owners to go back through the images they have used in the past and rename them using the naming convention? And that's from Deirdre.
Okay, Deirdre, that's a really good question. And here's the thing, I'm going to tell you, it's a pain in the ass. It's going to take you a while because you're going to have to go page by page and re-upload them so that they're put back where they belong. But honest to God, it will help you so much. It's one of the best things you can do. And if Julia's still in the room, she'll tell you I'm a tough taskmaster, but it really does help you.
I think I'm going to share my screen. So can everyone see the questions that I'm answering at the moment? Because if not, I can share my screen so that you can see all the questions that have come in. Hang on, I'm going to share my screen.
Can I hide them as we answer them?
Can
I hide it as we answer them? Oh,
yeah.
Comment.
Hang on. You can comment. Yeah. Hang on. I'll just share the screen so that you guys can see what I can see. Can everyone see the questions there now? That I can see? These are the questions that came in. Can you see them? Well, you can see that there's a few questions there. Okay. All right. So the other question that got the most votes, because you can vote which question you want answered. So you recommend we use PNG instead of JPEG if we can. Anna has asked that.
Yeah, Anna. No, when I was talking PNG, I was actually talking specifically about putting your logo and copyright on top of an image. If you're going to use a hashtag that was perhaps an image and your logo as an image, you need to use a PNG so that you have a transparent background. In a lot of cases, JPEGs are smaller than PNGs. So depending on the placement, okay, if you have a JPEG that's a white background, then put it on a white page. The first three images that we have, the B, the I, and the G for the big online primer, because I had to take them apart, they don't look good, and I wouldn't use those separately because it was a single image. And when you pull things apart, they don't look as good. So that's something you really have to look at the two images. If you have a PNG, and look at the JPEG and see which one's smaller and how good does it look, because both of those things matter. You don't want an image that's so large it's going to take forever to load on your page. Does that make sense?
All right, thank you. And then there's another one. Can you go back and rename the videos and photos? That's a similar one again. That's Jackie. And can you do custom thumbnails once you've published on YouTube? Just wondering, have heaps of images, have to all name them?
Yes. Okay. Jagdeep, that is a really super question. And again, it's a little bit picky. You may have to put it in there and then save your changes 2 or 3 times before you'll see it come up. But yeah, I do it all the time because sometimes I'll upload 5 or 6 videos and then I'll run out of time and I won't have put up all the custom images. So I go back and do that later.
Okay, and if anyone wants to come on screen, just put in the comments section there and I'll get you on. Another one might be a stupid, this is from Jacinta. There's no such thing as a stupid question. I learned that yesterday. It was brought up on the panel at the business picnic. There is no such thing as a stupid question.
Nope.
Might be a stupid question, but the name you give an image stays embedded in the image. So if I airdropped an image to someone and they uploaded it, would it still have the file name I created?
Yes, unless these. Okay, here's the only caveat. If they sorry, I just read my client saying I'm a meanie. Pardon me for that. Jacinta, the thing is, if they are smart enough to know that they can then change the image and put their name there, and most people don't know, and most people won't be that rude. What I will tell you is it will go with your name, and if you send it to someone, you can tell them they can add via and their company name because they're using your image, but they should not take off the name you have given it. Big Stock, Shutterstock, Dreamstime, when they're selling you the image, they're selling it to you and you can do what you want with it. But they count on the fact that people don't realize they can change the name. So they're getting all the optimization.
Fantastic. And that's all the questions we had, Elaine. Okay, thanks, Terry. Thanks very much. You had 33 people in the room at one stage. So well done you.
Okay.
Well done you. And you know what, you added so much value. And this will be available, everybody, to watch the replay on the website. Anyone that's not a member yet, this is what we do. We do this once a month, big webinars like this. We also do coffee mornings online every Tuesday. Sometimes we change the dates, sometimes we change the times. But there's so much value. And this is why I started Women's Inspire Network, is because I know we all need to learn this stuff, and we wouldn't have known that, only Elaine told us all that just now. And Elaine, you've been so kind with your time. I really appreciate it. What time is it over there now?
It's just 10 after 6.
Okay, so you're going to have your dinner now probably, are you?
Yeah, we eat about 7, so it's all good.
Okay. Well, look, we might see Elaine at the event in Dublin, hopefully. We're just trying to get sponsors. If anyone knows any sponsors, we have an event on the 10th of October. I'll throw the link in there.
Because I would love to be there. Oh, thank you.
Anna, you might be coming. I don't know if you're coming as well. But now there you go. Everybody's thanking you. There's some lovely comments there about the value that you added. And so everybody really appreciates your time. And Jacinta, thanks a million. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Fiona. Thank you very much. So yeah, so thanks, Elaine. I'll let you go now and enjoy your dinner. And everybody, if you want to join the network, if you want to come to the event, the links are there in the web. And if you want to watch it back, the replay will be available. So Elaine, thanks a million. And we'll chat later on Facebook.
Well, thank you so much. Bye-bye, everybody. Make it an amazing
I'll do a little screenshot. Hang on. Before we go, smile. There we go.
All right.
Okay. Please
yes,
come,
Kath,
Elaine. Catherine says.
I definitely want to be there.
And thank you for that comment.
Is it Roshan?
Roshin. We get you used to the Irish names.
Yeah, I'm getting there. Best money share we spent becoming a WIN member. I think that's wonderful. Jagdeep, good night. Helena, Kat, Fiona, Patricia, Julia, my sister from another mister. Bye-bye, everybody.
And Francis is here as well. Yeah.
Bye.
We'll see you guys. Good night. Thanks for joining, everybody, and take care and have a great evening. And thank you so much.
Bye-bye.